Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Wrong to Strong Chicago. My name is Omar Calvillo, and I'll be your host. I'm glad that you're able to join us, and as we share this podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to share stories from people who grew up in Chicago. They're going to be sharing their stories of the neighborhoods they grew up in and just how life was and their eyes and the things that they experienced. A lot of these stories are going to be about maybe some of the struggles and even some of the things they went into that they're maybe not too proud of nowadays. Maybe some of those things, let them astray. But I'm just glad to have my brother Cisco here.
So, full name actually is Francisco. Obviously, nickname is Cisco, just to keep it nice and simple for everybody. Last name Terrazas. Just a family man. I'm a father with 3 children. Oldest 18, the youngest is 9, and then the middle one's 11. I got a wife, home. It's nice where I'm at now in life. Obviously, in comparison to where I grew up, and obviously we'll get into that a little later. Got my full-time job, thank God for that, and so on, dude. You know what I mean? So okay. Hopefully that'll just kind of keep it simple.
Oh, yeah, like you said, we'll get into a lot of the stuff as we go on. So basically, man, I want to go right to the beginning. If you could share what part of Chicago did you grow up in? In Chicago, most of the neighborhoods have a name, right? Like whether it be in the south side, north side, but then you still got like little subsections. Exactly what that area was called.
Yeah, Little Village, bro. I'm pretty sure a lot of people, who grew up in Chicago know about Little Village, or even kind of probably cringe in a sense when you hear the word Little Village in a sense, but that's where I grew up from, for 26 years, bro, until I actually moved out closer over here to Midway Airport. I lived on 28th and Kedville. A lot of people actually really did know me. Actually, I have a twin brother. That's actually what they really knew us more about. Los Cuates, as they would call it, the twins, right? But me and him were night and day. And when I mean night and day, I mean, I was like the loud one. He was the quiet one, the shy one. You know what I mean? But that's how everybody got to know us, bro. We were just very kind of laid back people, dude. We used to like to party a lot and all that stuff, and that's how a lot of people got to know us even more. We had a family with a 3-flat house. We had a double lot, actually, an open lot that my father had. He had his little his grass, garden, trees. The guy had it all. You know what I mean? He had it really nice set up and everything. But yeah, like, dude. I mean, Little Village was pretty much all what I knew growing up. And I had a ton of friends, of course, good and bad.
Oh, yeah. That's a good place to start. And yeah. I know a little while ago when you mentioned a Little Village, you said the word cringe. Mm-hmm. For the people that are not from Chicago or have gone through that area to witness it, to see it with their own 2 eyes, what about Little Village will make somebody cringe?
Man, dude, so many things. So when I say cringe, I mean, it involves everything scary, right? From gangs to murder, drugs, pretty much you got bums on the street. It's definitely not your typical white picket fence looking kind of neighborhood. It's a very, very poor area. It's a lot of Hispanics just barely coming from their end on Mexico, you know what I mean? Or even probably some other poor areas. To kind of paint a picture, dude, it's considered more of a darker place rather than something really much more brighter and somewhere nice where somebody wants to go. Definitely is a place that everybody would want to avoid,
Yeah, definitely. It's known for the violence, unfortunately. But yeah, let me ask you this, going back to your childhood. Yeah. You mentioned you grew up like in a 3-flat home. Mm-hmm. You want to tell us about that? What was your family structure? Was your family like tight knit? You guys were close. Were both your parents in the picture?
So going back to my younger age, in comparison to now, yeah, we were definitely a lot more closer. Very, mom and dad were in the picture. I have a total of 2 siblings, right? My twin brother and my slightly older sister. We were all close. We were all very close. My grandmother, she was down in the basement, which was more of an apartment rather than a basement, right? But she lived in the basement with my grandfather, right, before he passed away because he died in a very young age for me. And then in the second floor, we had my aunt and my uncle. And then the third floor was us. It was my parents and us 3 together, the siblings. And eventually, my dad actually hooked up the attic. He actually, within a couple years, I don't know, when I was like in my teenage years, when he kind of really went up there, fixed it up, and gave us a little more room, because, once kids start getting older, they want their own, space, room or whatever, So both my brother and I were able to kind of stay upstairs and my sister downstairs with my parents. But I mean, it was close. My family, my parents are both very loving people. They're very open to help anyone. Let's put it this way. They weren't afraid to give, but we were just very close. It was all about helping each other out, trying to move forward, right, as we're getting older. So that was kind of like the structure, dude. I don't know if that makes sense, dude. It's just like we were close and we helped out a lot of people, especially our family, dude, that were coming from Mexico and over here, So it's like, so with that painted picture, right, my aunt's uncle living on the second floor, my grandmother, dude, now imagine like 5 or 6 cousins at a time, dude. My mom's like, you guys can come stay over here. Like, we got enough room. Yeah, we could make room. Probably it's not the most room we have, but like we were all sleeping everywhere. Let's put it this way at that time, which it was fun. I'm not going to lie. I had a really good time. It's not like my cousins were pain or anything like that, but dude, it's like kind of like what I told you a couple of days ago. My mom, like the things that I remember are the little small things, man. It's like we didn't have a ton of money, to like be feasting on lobster tails or big old steaks. It was just like a charola de frijoles, bro. You know what I mean? And tacos. You know what I mean? Like those were the simple things and we all had a good time because we all laughed,
Amen.
And obviously to paint that picture, like in comparison to now, it's not where I'm at. You know what I mean? So,
right.
But that's exactly what I remember the most, dude.
Okay, no, yeah, that's nice. Yeah, it's kind of like with me, same thing. I grew up in a three floor house. We were in the middle, first floor. Uncle upstairs with a bunch of cousins. I forget how many of them were. There were maybe 8 or 9 of them. My aunt on the basement floor. And man, yeah, I just grew up with family, neighbors that were like family, very close knit. So we're very close to what you just shared. Yeah. As you were growing up, maybe becoming like a young man, who do you feel had an influence on you as a young man? Coming into being an adult.
Well, it's funny because I remember having this conversation one time with my wife, but I didn't have anybody to really kind of look up to as much. I kind of had to almost kind of stop and think, like, if I could just even think of one, who would it be? And to be honest, man, my grandma was like someone that I really did look up to. Like I adored her, man. Like every time I talk about her, I'm not gonna lie, dude, it does bring me to tears because she passed away probably about, 2015, dude. My grandfather was very close to her too, like obviously them being married. Happy marriage, man. Those two, like, straight up, if I can look up at a marriage, one day hopefully God can help me get to that place, man, because these two were always happy. They had a typical always argument like Mexicans, typical like, viejo, ¿por qué haces esto? Whatever, you know what I mean? And my grandpa's like, whatever, man. It's like, I already know you're gonna, we're gonna definitely can not be mad at each other and we're gonna go to sleep, happy, So she passed away when she was like about 92, 93. This was like in 2015. My grandfather passed away in 93, bro. I still remember 2 days before my birthday. He was 70, no. Yeah, he was like either in his late 60s or early 70s, dude. Died of cancer. So even and I was at the age of 9, dude. I had just turned 9 those two days after he passed away. I want to say I look up to my grandmother, but even though I didn't have a whole lot of time with my grandfather, that's another person I look up to. My grandfather, he was a very strict Mexicano, bro. Very like, machista, if you want to call it that. Very, very strong-willed, dude. You know what I mean? That guy was like straight sergeant, bro. You know what I mean? Like that guy showed you no type of smile or empathy or anything like that, So that's why I really look at my mom's side, because literally that whole house was all related to my mom. It was on my mom's side, So that's why I would have to go back and say, yeah, my grandma and my grandfather from my mom's side, definitely the ones I would say I look up to a lot.
Okay, man, I mean? That's awesome that you would say that. Now, going back to a little village, as you were growing up, is there like a instance, maybe something that you witnessed or experienced that you're like, man, it's bad out here, where you could say, man, I know, like you mentioned, I'm not in a picket fence kind of neighborhood, like, man, after seeing or witnessing this.
Yeah. I think honestly, man, it wasn't like an everyday thing. I can't even like tie it down to like one thing specifically that made me, really told me like, bro, you live in a dangerous neighborhood, man. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, I think because it just kind of numbed me in a sense, dude, because I saw so many things throughout my time there, my time frame, 26 years living there, 30, 38 now, from the being on 28th and Kedville, there was specifically a corner closer to 30th. There's a little, they call it the little Arab store because it was a little Arabian dude, really nice guy, sweet guy, man. All the gangbangers would, hit that corner up, dude, and they would just literally just be up front right there, just posing and all that stuff. And that's all 2-6, bro. Okay. And so obviously you had so many rammers, so many like square box, like, square box, like cars, Broncos, bro. It just flying right through there, bro. And you got these guys coming out. Like, I'm talking about like 3, 4, 5 guys at a time, dude, coming up and they're throwing it down, bro. They're taking it, they're throwing each other down and all that stuff. It's like, it's crazy, dude. Like, to me, that became the norm. Right. You know what I mean? And actually, it's funny that I'm bringing this up. I remember because my wife didn't grow up in that neighborhood. She's more of a north side girl, and then she was young there on the north side, and then she moved over here in her teenage years, but by 65th and Mozart. Okay. So she was obviously in a different area. So she moved into my neighborhood probably like 2 years before we moved out, and I mean, she knew my neighborhood was bad. And she kind of already knew what she was kind of getting herself into, especially like marrying me. Is like, man, this guy living in the neighborhood, like in Little Village. Anyways, dude, we're in there. She knows it. She knows not to go outside. Just be to herself and be at home. And I remember inviting her sister. Obviously her not living or even from Little Village. Her and my brother-in-law at that time came to my apartment, dude. And luckily we have a driveway, dude. So they were able to find parking right through my driveway.
That's a big blessing in a neighborhood like that.
That is a blessing,
for real, because you don't want to just park anywhere over there.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Because like, bro, you can't even find parking to begin with because you always had one house that had like 15 families. You know what I mean? Like, and like 30 cars. You know what I mean? So it's like, bro, like half of that block would be filled up by one house. Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's a very, I would say, congested area where. Man, you'll be parking maybe I would imagine a couple blocks down.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's like that's again, this is what I was used to. You know what I mean? So, anyways, they parked in the driveway. Like, yeah, don't worry about it. You guys are fine. And I remember they had showed up like in the afternoon, and it was already a little late at night. We went outside, dude, and I remember a fight breaking out. And this is like I'm like my house is like halfway around from the corner, and there was a fight, dude. Somebody was getting actually jumped. It was like about 4 or 5 guys like hurting this guy pretty bad. You know what I mean? And what's funny is that my sister-in-law and brother-in-law look at down the area. They look at me and they're like terrified, bro. Like totally terrified. And I told them like, nah, don't worry about it, man. That's cool. Like, that's fine. That's normal, man. That's fine. That's like, don't worry about it. You guys are fine. Bro, they literally jumped into their truck and like vamoose left, bro. You know what I mean? And it was like, to me, it's like now, I mean, at that time, I wasn't really thinking about it because I'm like kind of paying attention or focusing on what was going on at that time. But now that I'm actually talking about it, I'm like, dude, that's actually pretty funny.
Hey, you know what? It's sad that it's funny. Because you know what? I was talking to a brother recently, and I guess what it boils down to, we become desensitized to the violence, to the crime that happens all around us. Yeah. Like you mentioned, it was common to see guys boxing maybe every Friday, Saturday, or whatever, jumping out and going to town. And you're probably just sitting there like, oh, here we go again. Yeah. But the thing is, there's a lot of people listening that is not normal. You know what I'm saying? Like
they tell me all the time. They tell me all the time, like, dude, this is not normal. Like literally, this is what you've experienced. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm very open about how I talk, So even me like talking about right now we're actually, on this, podcast, and I'm like totally so open about it. I know a lot of people won't accept it, won't take it the same way like I do, but that's what it is. It's just, I'm numb to it. That's what I'm used to, not to say that I'm, glamorizing or anything like that. I'm just saying like, this is what I saw and this is and it is what it is, and in some way I had to kind of cope with it. And you'd be surprised, man, because even the things that you've seen and you went through as you're getting older, we kind of almost like get into this point too where we kind of almost manifest as PTSD in a sense too. Maybe not as horrible as a lot of these veterans, bro, that are coming from war and stuff like that. Because I know they see some really horrible stuff out there. You know what I mean? And God bless them, dude. Each and every one of them for the work that they do. And especially them coming back. But it's like this is kind of what we kind of deal with in a sense. We got to find ways to kind of cope with it, and I think, obviously us coming to Christ, that's exactly how we cope with it. You know what I mean?
Okay, man. You know what? That's actually a good segue to, what you mentioned, finding Christ. Let me ask you this: right before you encounter Christ, or like your life changed, how would you say you were? Like as far as, let's say, the things you were involved in, maybe your personality, things you were doing. Basically, who were you right before you encounter Christ?
Yeah, that's actually easy. To be flat out, I was not in a gang, wasn't affiliated in any way, but I did hang around with a lot of my guys that were on, more on the dark side, 2-6, bro. And that's 26 in Carliff. And just like any other gang, when you have your branches and your families, they all have some kind of issue, some kind of beef or whatever, dude. So it's like, I hung out with them. There were other guys that were not a part of that, branch or whatever, but they had their little quarrels here and there, dude. But, I would party with everybody, dude. Like I said, my dad had a lot of space. With that second lot, like, dude, that was a party house. Like, I was a party boy. I literally was a party boy, dude. Again, I'm not happy.
Could you explain that? Like more, what made you a party boy? What did that entail?
I was the organizer, bro. I was the one, like helping to get the alcohol. I didn't do a whole lot of drugs, dude. There was a lot of things that I didn't want to get involved in. I'm not gonna lie. I smoked a lot of weed, did some other little minor things, but not as heavy, dude. But I drank a lot of alcohol, bro. But I was the one calling up all the people, you know what I mean? Like say, hey guys, make sure we get enough girls, we get the ratio, even or whatever, right? We don't want to have too many guys over not that many girls and stuff like that. I was the one.
That's a good organizer there.
Yeah, bro, you got to keep it even, man. You always got to keep everything level. That's how it, bro. We, from ordering pizza or, having food, I literally wanted everybody to have a good time. Like, look, come to my house, put your guns away. Because everybody always was strapped, bro. It's like, put your guns away. You don't need it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to shoot anybody here, bro. We are here to have a good time. You know what I mean? And
hey, it's fun. I was just laughing how you said, well, you got to shoot nobody here, but maybe somewhere else, huh?
Yeah. You know what? And again, bro, see, look, I'm talking about it like it's normal, but it's like,
and that's what we want to share, how it does become normal, being from Chicago, but go ahead.
Yeah. So it and it's funny the way you bring it up, because like now that you're helping me to like really kind of see how I was before I came to Christ, right? Which I'll eventually get to. Man, dude, it's like, I can't believe I did these kind of things. Yeah, they might not be as bad as many other people, dude, because I've heard so many stories, bro, like out there, like, I don't want to say way worse than mine, but man, they went through like a dark place. You know what I mean? I don't want to say mine was super dark, but regardless, at the end of the day, dude, I was in the flesh. Dude. I partied, did a lot of things I shouldn't have done. Let's put it this way, and then not only that, my house wasn't like the only destination, dude. My destination is wherever anybody had a location. That's the thing. It just moved around. I had a couple of cousins that always had their house available, and we would just like crazy, bro. I'm telling you, bro, we would have like kegs and kegs of beer, bro, and bottles everywhere, bro. It's just like I wasn't the club kind of guy. I wanted to make it more personal in a sense, because I'm the kind of guy that if you put me in a personal setting, I'm going to get along with people a lot better, and I'm going to get to know people a lot better, rather than a club where you're like, you know what I mean? Like everybody's just like dancing, but I'm like, dude, I'm not talking to nobody. You know what I mean? I was actually the kind of person that I would like to talk to people, get to know people. You know what I mean? So, and you know what? And within each, party, it being at different locations, you got to meet also the bad rep of that area too. You know what I mean? Like you had a lot of people like either representing one side because they're like, yo, what the hell, you're partying on my side, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yo, dude, like, don't even need to worry about it, bro. We're not representing over here anything. We're nothing. You know what I mean? But, things like that always popped off no matter what. You know what I mean? So it's like, from being at gunpoint to, a knife behind my back, you know what I mean? Like I've seen it all.
Right.
And like I said, dude, these are the kind of things that just I was around all the time, you know? I mean, and if you want me to just kind of lead you up to where, when exactly.
Actually, lead us how it happened and maybe who kind of like led you into that. Or,
No, not a problem, dude. Actually, I give this one to my wife, man. I'm not gonna lie, dude. She is a blessing to me, dude. She's totally a blessing to me. She I know she knows that, and I know she's a very humble person, and she doesn't want to admit it, from time to time. But she is a blessing to me. She's the one who actually led me to Christ. And dude, I mean, if I can sit here and tell you the kind of treatment she got, helping me get to Christ, that's where like it hurts me, dude, because I did hurt her. You know what I mean? Like I did hurt her like a lot. Not just me, a lot of people, dude. Right. She's such a loving person, dude. She literally will take her shirt off for anybody, whoever needs it at any moment, any given moment. You know what I mean? She's just that kind of person, very loving. And I didn't love her the same way at that time, dude, So when she talked about Christ, like just to kind of give an example, you see either firefighters or paramedics come. What's the first thing a lot of guys do? The persina, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna do my persina. And she's like, why would you do that? She would always question me on everything, bro. Everything that I did. You know what I mean? From the moment I woke up to the time I slept, she would always question me. And when I look at it now, it's like, man, like she questioned me for a reason because she wants to understand the answer. Me being a simple guy, didn't care about answers or nothing like that. I was just like, whatever, man. I'm just living day by day and taking it. You know what I mean? Like
maybe not getting like deep into it. Maybe just like
exactly,
the quick and simple answer.
Yeah,
right?
because I was so used to just being this kind of dry guy. You can kind of say, like, even though I was like a party guy, wanted to have a lot of friends. I felt like having a lot of friends was something you needed. Right, which was so far from the truth, bro. So far from the truth.
But maybe at that time you felt that though.
Yeah, because at that time that was the thing that was actually filling my gap. It was like when we're in the flesh, bro, we do things or we become someone that we truly are not. It's like it does fill in the things that keeps you happy, and I think that's how the enemy grabs you, bro. He grabs a hold of you because he knows, like, I know what's gonna make you happy. Smoke a little bit of weed, drink a little bit, go score some girls or whatever, bro, and you'll be happy. And that's going to be all it, man. And that's how it was for many years, you know what I mean? Like thinking that was the answer, but ultimately that wasn't. So it's like, so if I go back to my wife questioning me on everything and telling me, why do you do this? Why do you do that? That alone, I think it was a very harsh process for her that she was kind of going through. It's kind of like almost she was bearing the cross, right? Because she's getting the lash like Jesus, it was as he's walking up with his cross. He's getting beaten, dude, as he's walking towards his destination for death. That's kind of like what she kind of went through as she's talking to me about Christ and mentioning his name here and there and kind of telling me like, look, you shouldn't be doing this or that or whatever, and little by little, dude, she was chiseling at my heart. I didn't know that, now that I go back and I say, yeah, she was, man. She was definitely working on me and she did it, even though I didn't deserve it. That was the thing, dude. I never deserved any of that. So it's like, so even though I give her credit, I want to give God the glory for this one, dude, because at the end of the day, I didn't find him. He knew of me and he already knew when I was going to come to him. You know what I mean? And he used my wife to help me get to that point. You know what I mean? So it's like, I definitely would want to give her that credit, dude, in a sense, because she really did help me a lot, No,
thanks for sharing that because, like when you look at it, obviously we want to give God the glory, man. God was, like he was the one that was basically searching you out.
Yeah.
And he used your wife. And I always think about that it takes a willing vessel, like an obedient, that was obedience on your wife's part.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about like lashes, like she was taking lashes, like she was basically loving on you and getting lashed maybe by the treatment and maybe some of the things you were doing.
Yeah.
But thank God for her obedience. And man, talk about, I know you mentioned God used her to, chisel away at your heart. Do you remember when maybe you finally surrendered to God? How was that experience like, or was it like a process for you?
Yeah, dude. I remember this like yesterday. It's hard for me to talk about it, dude. But man, so this was so let's see. My wife, me and before I even get to that story, my wife and I have been knowing each other for like over 20 years now, like close to 20 years, maybe. Yeah, no, actually over 20 years. So both her and I were in a relationship, and we met it at high school. You know, we weren't in and out of the relationship. Of course, me being the fool that I was at that time, I did a lot of things to her that I'm not very happy of, you know? And even to this day, regardless, at the end of the day, it's like I've made a lot of mistakes, you know, even during the time I've been with her. So we kind of separated after high school. You know, she went her way, I went mine. And she got into a relationship and eventually, you know, had my oldest son. I don't like to call him stepson, but that was my oldest son, you know, because obviously he's married into my relationship now. You know, he's with me and my wife, right? But you know, that was like probably about 3 years after we had left high school, and eventually I got to see her again. Maybe, yeah, like about 3 years after high school. So I saw her again. Now she has my son at that time, 9 months, and then from there is when we kind of we got back together. Not in the best terms. Got back together. We had our really hard moments, dude, and eventually got married, right? So getting to the point, dude, of what exactly brought me to Christ, or what was the one thing that really made me turn my face, well, like 180, right, dude. It was this one accident, dude, coming from, and I actually, and it's kind of funny. Okay. I'll tell you kind of how it happened. So one day I came out of work. I was in this little blue car, small little blue car. They used to call it the Smurfmobile, dude. So I came out of work. I'm driving home. I'm coming from Northbrook, bro, and I'm driving down 294. And so anyways, this rock song came on. I don't know why, dude. I pedaled to the metal, bro. I was rocking out, bro. I hit that gas, bro.
Were you by yourself in the car?
Yeah, I was by myself, bro. I was by myself. I rocked out really hard. And so anyways, dude, I jump onto the middle lane, dude. And there is a trailer all the way on the far left. So I'm hitting it and I'm catching up to this trailer. And as I'm getting closer to him, he decides to jump in my middle lane. So at that time, all right, cool. Like, I have enough time. I already know how to drive, bro. I'm like Fast and the Furious. I can drive this thing in like nothing, right? Well, there was somebody already on the far right lane. So I couldn't jump into that lane. The trailer didn't see me, dude. Small little freaking car, dude. He couldn't see me. So eventually what happened was, you know, me pedal to the metal, dude, and still rocking out, dude. I hit him, bro. I hit the corner of the trailer. Actually, he kind of came in, dude, and the back end started almost like not only nipped me, dude, but it's my car was kind of going under the flatbed, dude. All right. So what eventually happened is that the back wheels caught onto my car. And it started just like, almost felt like it was shredding the car, dude, in a sense, because my car was stuck already at that point. So eventually what happened within a couple seconds, dude, my car literally faced into the direction of the flatbed, dude, and I went underneath. And I went probably as far as like maybe mid windshield. That's how far I went in. And mind you, the wheels are still grinding at my car at this time, right? And that was the moment where I'm like, crap, dude, I'm done. Like, I'm done.
Man.
It sucks, dude, because I'm not a one to cry about this, dude, but it really did scare me, dude. I almost lost my life, dude. But it wasn't so much for me, dude. I was thinking about my kids.
Yes.
You know, my wife. And right there, bro, at that moment, everything just became slow motion, dude.
Man, because that's something like, whenever I think about that, you know, let's say like dying, it's like you mentioned, we get desensitized to all the stuff that we grew up in Chicago. But man, when I think about leaving my wife and kids, like, who's going to take care of them, you know, who's going to provide, you know, who's going to raise them, how are they going to treat them? Oh, yeah, man. So definitely, I mean, that'll make anyone want to cry, man. I can't even imagine like the thoughts that went through your mind, and even now as you're remembering, man, it seems like it's so real and like so fresh, right?
Yeah.
But man, no, hey, don't worry about that, man.
Thanks.
That's one thing, we grew up and they tell us, oh, men don't cry, and we do, man. We just try to bottle it in. And what happens, it becomes worse, because we bottle it in and then we're bound to explode and lash out. And at times we take it out on those that we love, unfortunately. But no, man, hey, thanks for sharing that story, man. I'll let you, continue.
I appreciate it, bro. Like I said, dude, it's like, it doesn't hit me all the time, dude, because if I'm talking about the situation, I'm most of the time actually laughing about it, dude. But since I'm actually, we're talking about it, it's in a sense not in a funny way. It's actually, I'm telling you exactly how this moment, and it wasn't a quick moment. It took a couple minutes, but how I came to Christ, dude, and how he helped me to see down his side. You know what I mean? Rather than still be stuck in the world, dude. You know what I mean? That was the moment where I kind of almost like, I don't want to say that I didn't care about myself, dude, but like I said, I was thinking about others, like my kids, my wife, like, what the heck am I doing? Like, why am I in this position, right? And, I'm about to die. And what eventually happened, dude, thank God, is that, my car actually shot out. Somehow the trailer, I mean, I don't even know how fast this guy was going, dude, but he didn't feel me, dude. Let's put it this way. He didn't feel my car at all, me going underneath him. But eventually what happened is that he shot me out. He kind of spit me out, literally, bro, outside to the far right lane, dude. And I spun, dude. I literally spun. And vividly, dude, I remember just like broken glass, dude, just everywhere. I had glasses at that time, I had my glasses like falling out. I see hot coffee just spilling everywhere, bro, landing on me. So like, these are the moments where this is the funny moment. Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like I was in a movie almost, right? And I'm spinning around, and mind you, bro, all the airbags like popped out, bro. You know what I mean? Like side, front, and I'm getting hit left, right. You know what I mean? And eventually what happened is that the car spun around and it stopped on the far right side. Yeah, the emergency lane, whatever you want to call it. And it was facing the direction of the traffic, dude. So I was like, okay, so my car stopped. Everybody else stopped. They're like, what the heck did we just witness right now, right? I think somebody's dead in that little Smurf mobile. And dude, what's funny is that the first thing that came out of my mouth was like, damn, this hot coffee's on me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the first thing I think is like, this hot coffee is all over my pants. I'm the kind of guy that doesn't like getting dirty, bro. Like, not even a little spill, bro. I get like, I'm very, what's the word I'm looking like? OCD, bro. I'm very OCD.
Yeah,
Actually, I probably have that issue.
Yeah, you know what? I think I have a little bit of that.
So trust me, dude. I got it really bad. My wife tells me and my kids tell me all the time, dude. But that was the first thing that I thought of. Was like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm alive.
Man,
thank God. You know what I mean?
I ruined my pants.
Yeah, exactly. The first thing I think about is I ruined my pants, dude. You know what I mean? And so my car at that time, it stopped. I can't open the door because obviously the tires were just shredding through this thing, right? So I pop out like a crazy madman, dude. Like straight up crazy madman. I can't find my cell phone, and some guy comes up to me and like just say kind of very what's the word I'm looking like surprised, like, wow, you're actually alive. Bro, the first thing I do, he has his cell phone in his hand, and me being the dumb guy that I am, I snatched the phone from his hand, dude. I snatched the phone from his hand. It's like, yo, man, I got to call my wife, and, my kids, I got to make sure I tell them that I'm okay. But, bro, it's like, I think because I was in shock.
Oh, yeah.
I was literally in shock, So I guess the guy was actually really nice, and he wasn't picking on me for that. Right. That, dude. You know what I mean? He's like, no, you know what, bro? You deserve it. You're alive, bro. You know what I mean? Go ahead, call your wife. Make sure you tell everybody that, you're okay. But I go back, bro. I see my car. My car is, if you can picture this, bro, the Incredible Hulk literally just grabbing like my hood and just popping it open, bro. My hood's gone. Half of my car from the front is all smashed in, dude.
Almost like a can opener, just getting that lid back.
Yeah, literally, bro, like a straight can opener. That's exactly what it looked like, dude. Right? I'm in tears because I'm thanking God. I'm literally thanking God. Thank you for like not letting me die. Amen. You know what I mean? Like giving me another opportunity, another moment to live. Because before I started tearing up, dude, the sheriff told me, he's like, I've never seen anybody like make it through one of what I'm seeing right now. Right. You know what I mean? Like you should have been gone. And that's where it really, really hit me. I'm like, man, thank God. And I think that's where that was a time where I wanted to turn things around, dude. You know, I was still at that time, you know, kind of flash back for about 2 years, 3 years. I was already coming to New Life, you know, church with my wife, dude. That was her church, dude. That is her church.
So let me ask you this: you were going to church 2 to 3 years prior before that?
Yeah.
But were you still like doing the partying and all that?
Well, I don't want to say that I was doing the party. I still was doing a lot of things I shouldn't have been doing, right? I guess I think I had to kind of slow it down. I'm getting older. I can't party like I used to, bro.
Gotcha.
But I still was doing
I guess the
things.
question is, you weren't, even though you were going to church, you weren't like surrendered.
No. I didn't, bro. No, I didn't surrender to God. I was still foolish, dumb, still making a lot of mistakes, dude. Which, like, God puts you in a certain position, dude, where He helps you to see. Even those who can see can still be blind. I was that person. I was the person that was seeing, but not really seeing, dude. I was blind. You know what I mean? Because it was all about me. What makes Francisco happy? What makes me happy, right? Like, I always should be thinking of me, number one. So, I mean, just imagine, bro, for 30 years, dude, just thinking about myself, me and my happiness, what makes me happy, and never giving God the glory, nothing, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I was, even though, typical Catholic family, I go to church every Sunday, but for what? For what, dude? Like, I never got the message.
Gotcha.
I didn't get the memo. You know what I mean? But like I said, coming to New Life, I still was very hesitant of how I wanted to be. Still, regardless, at the end of the day, I was still being resistant to God at that time.
Now, once you had that incident, with the accident, was it like an immediate change, or was it still like a gradual change?
I don't think it completely changes you 100% every which way. Because we're still selfish, bro. We're still selfish human beings, regardless at the end of the day. So I still needed my fix. I still needed my happiness here and there. But I'm like, but I'm going to get, Jesus the glory and everything, right? And I'm still living this lukewarm life, as they say, right? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Kind of like half 1 foot on the flesh, 1 foot on, over here with Christ. And that still wasn't good enough, dude. After that accident, I did get baptized about a year later. The changes was gradual, and even then, I still don't want to sit here and say that I was doing a lot of good. No, I still had my moments where I was doing a lot of bad, dude. And it's a lot of people got hurt in the process too. Okay. You know what I mean? So it's like, again, it's like, for me being the selfish human being, still is like, there was still a lot of work that God wanted to do. To work on me. I thought, dude, I already had one accident. What else you want to give me? You know what I mean? Like, you want to give me some more or what? But I think what it is, bro, as you have that moment where you kind of connect with Him, right? Where He makes you look down His way, which that accident, that's what I reflected, and I looked at Him, right? Is like, every day is an opportunity for you to work on yourself, work with everyone around you, everybody you love and care about. Is like, but be open, be frugal. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, it's like, whatever I give you, it's not just for you. It's for everybody else around you. But we all go through seasons where we struggle, I definitely am more grounded with God. I feel like I'm a lot more grounded with Him because now I'm actually asking Him for wisdom, which before it wasn't wisdom that I was asking for. I was still asking for a lot of stupid things, like a lot of dumb things that I don't think really made sense. Like, wait, hold on a sec. Like, you're coming to me. He's like, I just literally gave you still life, to live, to keep living. And you're asking for these little things. It's like, no. He's like, that's not what I want. And I think you were kind of the ones who kind of pushed me in that direction to say, what is it that you want? What do you want out of life? It's like, because wisdom is actually a really good thing, and God will always give you wisdom no matter what. I think it's Mark 1:5 where, you can always ask God for wisdom and He'll never rebuke you. And that's kind of how I view it now, because us being typical Mexican men, dude, we were always wanting to be in control of everything, bro. Like, I literally wanted to be in control of everything. And that's where I had to also learn I can't control everything. I can't control everyone. So I had to let that go too, So there was just, again, this is all gradually, dude, as I'm growing. So it's like,
I know one of the things you that you keep like saying, like, man, I'm not perfect. I God didn't fix me like right away.
Yeah.
But what were some of those things that if I were to ask somebody that knew you, let's say BC, before Christ, before God really started working on
before
you,
Christ, yeah.
man, what are some of the visual things? Because I do believe, like you mentioned, it's not a 100% fix even when we come to Christ. Maybe some things do change immediately, but there's some that it's like a process, right? Like you mentioned, a lot of times we're selfish and we really don't know how we are until we get ourselves into certain situations, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We could be hard-headed, but man, those lessons, or you mentioned some storms earlier, man, they reveal to us not just, let's say, the things we're going through, but man, at times something about us. But what is something that if I were to ask somebody that knew you, that they will mention, man, Cisco changed in this way. Like it could be, man, your personality, or maybe more patient. I don't know. Like what comes to your mind when I ask that?
Okay. Yeah. You know what? My personality hasn't really changed. I'm a very comical person.
Okay.
I love to laugh, bro. I'm just the kind of person that needs a laugh every day somehow.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
My wife tells me that I joke around too much.
Yeah.
I don't think I joke around enough. Hey, she be telling me, man, she's like, hey, people are not going to take you seriously. You joke around too much. But you know what? That's just, I guess to me, that's my way to connect. And like she tells me too, though, it's my way to make light of serious situations at times too. And to me, I notice, you know what it is? It's an escape for me too, though. Because I don't want to deal with hard things.
Yeah. So
you know what I'm saying? But that's just me. Like, so it's a great thing because, man, it makes it easier to relate to people. Yeah. I know I got sidetracked here. You were mentioning, that's part of your personality.
Yeah.
But what's one good thing, that people would say, like.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing, dude. If I were to go back and just to kind of give you a little quick overview of where I'm at now in life, I did have to let go of a lot of those people. Okay. I couldn't be around that because that was my toxic. That was my toxic because it brought me too close to an area where I knew I couldn't control it, So I had, just little by little, bro. I'm more of a loner now in a sense. It's kind of sad in a sense, but not really. I mean, I want to say, dude, that, I hang around with you guys and all that stuff, which is great because, I knew you guys now, but it's not like you guys grew up with me, right? So it's like, so I do have a lot of friends that just I don't talk to them very much. It's not like they come looking for me. You know what? Actually, now that we're talking about this, I think they stopped talking to me. Like, I think because I came to Christ, I don't think they don't want to talk to me anymore. I think that's what it is, bro.
Join the club, man.
Yeah, tell me about it, bro. I think that's what it is. I'm like, man, why doesn't... Just like about 2 days ago, because even my older son asked me, he's like, hey, Dad, he's like, did you talk to, such and such, this, for your friend? Yeah, right. And he's up, and I told him, like, nah, man, that guy never wants to call me, man. I don't even know why. And then now I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute. It's like, this guy probably doesn't talk to me anymore because I say maybe too many God blesses to him or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like, God bless you.
Right. Oh. Hey, that's true. Hey, sometimes, we got to change our environment. There's a saying that people say, like, tell me the 5 people that are closest to you, and I'll tell you who you are.
Yeah.
And as we start to, see God and, try to draw closer to him, man, we want to be around those that are on the same walk or path that we're on,
Yeah.
It's like, I think there's a scripture in the Bible that says, what fellowship can the darkness have with the light? What fellowship can, I think it says, Belial have with Christ?
Yeah.
And it can't, they can't mix. So, I mean, I know you mentioned, like, you're a loner, or you feel like a loner. Honestly, like, I'm right there with you, man, because I knew that when, Christ grabbed a hold of me, like the relationships, whether it was my friends, the guys from the neighborhood, and even some family members that I was really close to that, man, I love dearly. And even my friends, we had experiences. We went through some stuff together, but man, I couldn't be around it. And like you mentioned, maybe they didn't want to be around you either because, man, I would come around and start sharing, my testimony, talking about God. And man, when you're in that lifestyle and that darkness, you don't want to hear about the things of God,
bro,
And I understood completely because I was there. I remember rejecting people coming to me, and I was there, having my fun and everything. But I mean that's good that it's a process. And what about now? Like fast forward to now, what's like something fresh or something new that you feel God's like maybe speaking to you about or working in you? Or maybe like a change you feel happening during the season of life that you're in?
Yeah. He's definitely working in me. I'll tell you that, dude. I actually had a conversation with one of the guys about this, and it's kind of like I'm grounded to him. You know, I give my devotion to him every morning. Actually, you helped me with that, dude. And I thank you so much for that, because in this season where I'm at, you know, I'm getting up a lot earlier to get into prayer and to read the Bible, right? You know, one day will be good. Another one maybe might not be the best, but I'm like, you know what? I'm still going to give it my all, right? So I don't want to sit here and say that every day is good. No, it's not. It's not every day. It's still putting in the work, right?
Right.
Because you always got to put in the work to be able to see, you know, pretty much everything that's going to come out at the end, right? But in this moment, it's like I'm grounded to him, but I'm still a little lost. Like, okay. I don't want to say like a bad lost. It's just more like I'm praying, I'm talking to him, and I'm asking him for certain things, but I'm not getting answers right now.
And maybe like a season of waiting more than lost.
Yeah, dude. Because even though it's a season of waiting, I'm still, don't get me wrong, I'm still in pain. I'm still hurting on this end, because I do feel alone. I'm not gonna lie. I feel very alone. I don't, you know, even though I have my family, and remember, I painted a picture of a family that was so close to each other when they were younger. Now, me being in this age, I'm not close to them anymore.
Right.
You know, not to say that I don't love them. It's not that, dude. It's just we're not connected anymore. You know, a lot of things have happened during the past up to this point where it's hard for me to connect with them, you know, and it's not like I'm doing it on purpose. It's just really hard. You know, I go through therapy, dude. You know, I've actually kind of had to stop a little bit for some time, you know, due to some certain issues, but you know, taking therapy really did help me to analyze myself a little more, bro, a lot more deeper than what I even knew about myself. Right. You know, growing up in the hood, you know, bro, like you said, you try to mask this, like, nah, bro, I'm a thug, I'm tough, I don't cry, I don't need to do any of this stuff. Like, that's where you show weakness, you know, and bro, man, like, that's just hot garbage, bro. Like, I didn't know how much, like, I actually did hold back. I held back too much, you know, even though I don't want to sit here and say that I exploded like a bomb, because I didn't. But I did hurt a lot of people, you know, a lot of good people, dude. And especially my wife's one of them, you know, but that's where, you know, like the therapy helped me in that part. Right. But either way, regardless. So if I can tell you what is he working on, it's kind of hard for me to tell you, bro, to be honest. You know, all I know is that I'm in pain. I am hurting. I feel alone, but I know that I'm not literally alone. Like, I know he's with me. I just need to keep listening. Yeah. And it's a season of being still. Right. Kind of like Exodus 4. I think it's Exodus 14:14, you know, be still and know that I am God.
Amen.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the moment. Actually, that verse got me through another situation, you know. Maybe in the near future we could talk about it some other time.
You know what? If I could jump in, and I know you say you're in, a season you feel lost and kind of like a waiting season, and you're still waiting to hear from them. But let me tell you what I see in this season from you. Yeah. Like, I know just last week, I think it was a week ago, and our Wednesday gathering where we gather, you know, we work out and then we do the Bible study. You actually brought a word, and it really blessed a lot of the men that were here. And I know you're in a season of waiting, a season of like struggle and pain, but you were able to bring a word that I guess that season that you're in brought out of you. Because I even when you were sharing it, it was like 2 to 3 pages long. And as we got halfway through it, I'm like, wait a minute, man. It's some of the stuff was like personal, you know, like, hey, man. And I even asked you, hey, man, did you write all this yourself? And you're like, yeah. And I remember telling you, man, with me, I just copy and paste my Bible lesson and I'm gone, man. But that's what I see. I know, you know what? I think a lot of times we're like that. Like, we can't see what actually is happening in us. Yeah. And, man, you were able to bring a word. And there was a brother here, and I know it was on grief. It's siding with grief, right?
It was a connection. It was a connection to
grief, based on the book of Job and everything that he went through. And a lot of the men, you know, that I talked to afterwards were really blessed by it. I remember I even took the papers, you know, because we did a little printout. Yeah. I took it upstairs. I showed my wife, and she was blessed by it.
Oh, it's sweet, man.
She read it, and she's like, man, this guy actually typed this up. And yeah, we were amazed. Well, man, so that's one thing. And I know we got some brothers here that are new in the faith. You know, there's a brother that just started coming to church like 2-3 weeks ago, and he's looking to get discipled. And I know you're God willing, you might be able to connect and even maybe lead him through the Blue Book, the Bible study, and who knows, him or somebody else that you could lead through the waters of baptism.
Actually, and I did connect with him. Just so you know, I did
go ahead.
With him,
how did that go?
No, it was actually crazy, dude. Because I'm actually kind of glad you brought that up, dude. You bringing up that me, obviously giving out that lesson that day, that even kind of shows me where my heart is too. Knowing the fact that I'm a little more humble, bro. I do want to be more humble about the things that I do. I don't want to speak on them. I don't want to talk about them. It is what they're things that I want to do now, because I know it's not only that it's helping me, dude, but it is also like, that's God's work. You know what I mean? Like, he's working through me in order for me to be able to do that, and giving me the strength to be able to do it too. Because I'm not going to lie, dude, like, did I want to sit and write a 2-page paper, especially in the season where I'm at now?
Right.
Probably not, dude. I'm not going to lie. 100% can't tell you that I wanted to do it. But I knew, I'm like, you know what? Like, and even in that lesson, I even did also bring up, what do we do on a daily through our daily struggles? That's what it was. It was struggles / kind of grief, right? It's like, what do? You extend your arm. Don't think, in order for us not to capture and sit depressed in a lonely little corner thinking about our season that we're going through, we extend our arm. We help others, dude. There's other people that are much more hurt than we are, and that kind of helps me to not focus on me, but focus on somebody else. Somebody else that I can probably be able to kind of get a hold of and, be able to bring the message in a sense, right? Like, I'm going to talk to this brother and kind of lift him up, because obviously he came to Christ, that one gentleman, right? That was with us. And I'm kind of happy to hear that message did touch, a couple of the guys, and your wife too. That's awesome, dude. Like I said, it's just, I don't want to, I want to be humble. I want to continue to be humble, dude, because that's not where my heart was in the past, So
you know what I asked you like about 20 minutes ago? What's the good that people were seeing you, and it took you 20 minutes to get to humble? Hey, but we finally got our answer. Hey, you know what? No, that's good that you reflect on that, man. Because like I mentioned, the reason I brought all this up, because a lot of times we don't see what God's doing in us.
Yeah.
But maybe somebody from the outside, like, you know how to say, outside looking in.
Yeah.
Could see maybe the things that we get blinded to, because we see ourselves every day. We don't see the change.
Yeah.
But it's somebody that maybe hasn't seen us in a while, or like, man, hey, you're like this now or like that. But man, I mean, being humble and, man, being in that position where you're waiting, but yet you're still being used. And I think that's like a great message or encouragement for any other man that's going through something similar like you were, man. You know, I'm waiting, I'm praying, I'm not getting answers. But even then, even while you're not getting your answers, even while you feel like, man, God, why is it taking so long? You're still serving. You're still giving of yourself, giving of your time. And man, others are being blessed by it. So man, that's something to, I guess, to just be mindful of that, man. You're still continuing to serve God. You haven't thrown in the towel. I'm sure, man, I know in my life there's been times where I want to throw in the towel. It's not easy to serve God.
Yeah.
It's not easy to be a man of God. It's easy to go back to the flesh.
Yeah.
It's easy to go back and escape what we're used to. I remember back when I was younger, before Christ came in my life, man, if I used to get mad at my girl, I used to go back to the neighborhood, 24-pack,
hang out with your boys,
and
what
for
I mean?
real,
Yeah,
that was the go-to, like, hey, I'm gonna forget, about my issues at least for a day or two, But man, you are choosing to stick it out.
Yeah.
You are choosing, man, to continue to pray, and man, I just want to encourage you to keep going, and God willing, He'll give you that answer soon, But you're definitely being used by God even in the midst of this season that you're in.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm like I said, I'm thankful that you're able to see that, dude, because, I guess when somebody's going through something really hard during their season, it's hard for us to be able to see other things of what we're doing. Those that want to just sit, be depressed, that's easy to capture. You can see that. But the ones that don't want to throw in the towel, kind of like people like us that want to give it want to put in all our heart and give it to Christ, right? And say like, man, I'm going to do the best that I can. I'm not perfect, but I'm going to do the best that I can. And the funny thing is too, is like, I kind of think about it like where I'm at now too. If I didn't allow God to be in my heart, I would have give up a long time ago, bro. And that's fact, like straight up, like I wouldn't have even be where I'm at now. Even though a lot of people say like, shoot, man, I don't even want to be where you're at right now. You know what I mean? Like this is like a tough one, dude. You know what I mean? I don't even look at it that way. If anything, dude, I'm not going to lie, kind of where I'm at now, I'm actually able to see it as a blessing in a sense, right? And that's kind of even hard to say that, right? I'm like, really? You find this a blessing? Like you're hurt. You're alone. Like listen to the words you're saying to yourself. This is nothing positive.
Right.
But actually throughout all of this, there is a positive. It's that God is helping you to understand where you're at and help you to become wiser with the choices you need to make, as you move forward with him.
Yes.
That's the only way you're going to gain wisdom out of this. Know, like I said, the season is not meant to be forever. You're eventually going to get out of it, God willing. And we got help, dude. And then guess what? Whenever you ever come to a situation where it's kind of similar or kind of close to it, you know how to tackle that issue.
Right.
You know now how to navigate through it. Like I said, it's just kind of like going through these daily battles, man. That's where you have to look at the positive. There is a message in everything. There's a message in everything.
Yes.
And we need to make sure that we capture that. Because if we don't see it, then we're not learning, man. Because I don't know how much time I got.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want to try to get as much as I can. I already screwed up, 30 some years of my life.
Right.
Because I was too foolish. I was stuck in the flesh. And it was all about me. It was never about Christ. Right. So it's like.
Let me ask you this. What is it going to be about now going forward? Now that you're going through this as you're learning, and I know you mentioned, man, it was about me, I made all these foolish choices. What are some of those things that you see like as you go forward that are going to change?
Well, it's definitely not going to be me anymore.
Okay.
That's gone. That's long gone, bro. It's always going to be primary. It's like God first. And if you're married, obviously, right, it's your wife next, and then your children, and then so on and so forth. And that's what I want to follow. Okay. I want to follow that because at the point, God's always on top. Yeah. No matter what. And it has to be that way.
Amen.
So.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for coming on here, Cisco. As we get ready to wrap up, I'm going to ask you if you could say a prayer, to our listeners that are out there. Maybe they're going through something similar like you, say a prayer just for whatever comes to your mind. It could be even personal, family, friends, whatever it is. But yeah, if you could just bless us with a prayer as we close out.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna make this actually general, dude, for like everyone, dude. Honestly, I just got to pray for everybody in general. Amen. You know what I mean? So, So, dear Heavenly Father, I just want to come before you. I just want to say, thank you for helping us, both Omar, to be able to just kind of speak your word through us. I want to pray for those that are just kind of going through such a rough time, going through a hard season, a dark season, whatever they want to call it, however they want to define it. I know it's nothing positive, but through all of that, God, I know that you have an answer for everything. You have a positive message that you like to relate to these people. And I pray that you allow the Holy Spirit to work in their heart and help them to understand that right now, where they may be, it's not forever. It's going to be temporary. But they do need to understand, too, that they need to let go of the flesh. The flesh is what's probably holding them back from a lot of things and the decisions that they make. They're probably not putting you first. And I pray that they put you first, because you should always be first no matter what. From the biggest to the smallest to any little thing, God. You should always come first. And I pray that you just help these people, God, be able to connect either with the church, with the pastors. God, I pray that these people just somehow get connected and help them to also understand and see that, it's not the end of the world. I pray that they do look towards your way. And I pray you give them the guidance, God. Show them the beacon of light. Light their path, God. We all need that light. Sometimes we can just kind of be hard-headed and think that, we should just kind of go back to making ourselves happy. But that's not what's going to make us happy. Giving everything in the glory to Christ, God, your son, you let him die on the cross for our sins, and that alone speaks volume. And hopefully people can really be able to understand that and see that, you know what, I should come to Christ for everything. So please, God, just continue to touch hearts out there, whomever, gets to hear this podcast. And I just pray that you continue to work on us, God. And you know what, God, I also want to pray for Omar, him, starting this podcast, with his wife and everyone that's connected to it, God. I pray that you help it to grow. I want this message and every story that's going to be revealed, God willing, God, that I want it to reach nationally, globally. I want it to reach everywhere because your word needs to be heard. And there's so many people that need to hear your word. So I just pray, God, that you just reach out to each and every one of us, continue to work in us, God, and help us to just continue to share the gospel, God. All in the name of Jesus, God. Amen.
Amen. Thanks for that prayer, Cisco. And man, to all of those that are going to be hearing this podcast, man, make sure you keep our brother Cisco and his family in prayer as well as he goes forward, continues serving God, and just as he makes himself available to whatever it is that God is going to call him to do in this season and the one that's about to come, So we pray strength over him. Just keep doing what you're doing, Cisco. Keep fighting. I know you mentioned being grounded in the Lord, being close to him. And man, I pray that he continues just to reveal himself to you and your family. But with that, man, we're going to wrap it up. Man, thank you guys for joining us on this Wrong to Strong Chicago episode. Make sure you share this podcast with your friends. And God willing, we'll see you in a week. You guys take care and be blessed.